we give a round of applause to all the cooks who made this lunch so delicious. Let's give a round of applause to the cooks. All right, it's 2 o'clock. I think we're pretty much done eating. I see a lot of people are still sharing stories. They don't want to start the storytelling workshop. They're busy telling stories right now. How the room is then, etc. Should I use a hand stick? I can for this mic. I'm so in front of the speakers.
There, that sounds a lot better. All right, folks. We're about to start the art of storytelling. All right, so come on over here. The closer you are, the better. You don't want to be too far away from the storytelling rabbi. All right. Okay, there we go. I know I love seeing the people hanging out on Sabbath and enjoying the presentation so much. I hate to wind it down, but we're going to wind it down. So if you guys want to join the workshop, come on over this way. The closer you come, the better. There's some chairs here. You can rearrange these chairs. You can move up. You don't need a table. Unless you want to take notes. Right here, these chairs are padded too. A little more comfortable. Oh, before I forget, Pastor Marion, I got some more of these decision cards here. We'll go over them later on. That's Christmas time for pastors. We see decision cards with people's names and contacts. We get to see where they're at spiritually. Us pastors love that. It's like, yes, we kind of know where we are. And the people, we know who wants Bible studies, who wants to volunteer. That is golden. All right. I think we're almost ready to start. You all comfortable? Oh, come on in. No, you're in the right spot. I want to pick on you. Come on, right over here. Yeah. Vadim, right? Come on here, Vadim. You're the biggest kid in Sabbath school. All right. Well, everybody loves a good story, right? It's just a universal human thing. Listen, if kids are in church, there's a lot of kids in church, a lot of adults. If I start getting into too much logic, too much evidence, I know I'll lose some of the adults, I'll lose a bunch of the kids. But if I tell that children's story I told here, I had everybody. Everybody, and I know it's the kid's story, but I promise you, if you tell a good story from the front, you got the grandmas and grandpas, the moms and dads, you got the teenage adults, everybody's listening to the story, to the children. That's why I turned around. So if you listen to the story like this, I make sure I was on the other side because I know the children's story isn't just for the children, right? Were you listening to it? Yes, all right, excellent. So everybody loves stories. Well, we're going to learn how to tell better stories. We're going to go over some basic theory today. Okay, we're going to go over 3 samples. I'm going to role model it for you. Remember the way you mentor? I do, you watch. Then I do, you help. Then you do, I help. Then you do, I watch. Okay, so we do a little bit of mentoring today with 3 different samples of storytelling. Then we're going to do a review again of what we've learned. And then you can't learn how to tell a story by theory. You have to practice it. So we're going to ask for some volunteers at the end. And don't worry, if you're worried about looking dumb, you're going to look dumb. You just have to be a kid at heart. We're all kids at heart. Just step yourself up there, put your neck out, and try your turn storytelling. That's how you're going to learn, right? You're never learn how to play basketball if you're too scared to look silly throwing the basketball the wrong way. You're just not going to learn. Right? You have to be willing, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to make mistakes, I'm willing to look foolish. By being willing to look foolish, you're going to end up looking amazing because you're going to practice. All right. So first of all, the basic theory. All stories have certain key elements. What do you think all stories have? A plot. Yes, there has to be a plot. What's a plot? I forget what a plot is. What's a plot? Or there's a plot twist. There can be a straightforward plot that has a twist. What's a plot? Not a plot of land, a story plot. What is a story plot? Something happening, right? And unexpected, like you're not sure it's going to happen next. There has to be a story, okay? The key part of that is, of course, with something happening, it has to happen to somebody or something, right? So there has to be a character, right? So the story is about people. Story is all about people, right? You don't tell a story of a tree unless the tree represents a person. This is a talking tree with feelings and thoughts, etc. So a basic part of a story, there's a character, okay? It could be a human, or it's an animal or a plant or a robot. An animal, plant, or robot has human emotions or thought processes, right? So number two, there has to be a setting, okay? So you want to paint the setting. You don't just say Adam and Eve are in the Garden of Eden. You're like, all right, boys and girls, ready? All right, now there's some branches in front. Let's move the branches aside, okay? We're going to move the other branches aside. Oh, there's a lot of trees here. And look at all those trees got fruit, a whole bunch of fruit trees, and oh, look, there's some strawberries over there, and some raspberries over there, and some blackberries, look, the thorns over there, right? And look, oh, there's a potato plant. Where are we? We're in a garden, right? And it's a tropical garden, all the fruit trees. So there has to be a setting, okay? So it's not just a character in vacuum, it's a character in a setting. And number three, you need a problem. No movie ever starts with they lived happily ever after. No fairy tale starts. It starts with once upon a time, there was a what? Make it up. There was a what? There was a fox, right? There was a fox, and that fox lived in a magical forest. Okay, so you have a set. You have the fox is the character. You have the magical forest that you would describe. So it has to be, but now the next thing, there has to be a problem. Okay, once upon a time, so start with the fox lived happily ever after. We want comfort. We like to sit on our lazy boy couch, watch Netflix, want everything to be good, but it's boring. We need a problem for a story. So a lot of movies will start with the bad guy. Boring movies don't sell. So movies are a story on video, and a lot of movies, they'll start not with the good guys. Named after the good guy, right? Named after Batman, but it starts with Joker. The first person you see is Joker. And the Joker's over here doing bad stuff, and it's scary because he's a bad dude. He's really smart. He has a whole bunch of weapons. He's really sinister, has plans, and etc. Then you see Batman. He's the good guy. He's also really smart. Oh, but the Joker's so sneaky. So right away, you're like, what's going to happen? There's a problem, right? No movie ever, or no story ever starts with happily ever after. It starts with a problem, there's a tension, etc. And what you want to know here, by knowing there's a problem, you want to build that tension. You want to milk that out. So often in a movie, the good guy and the bad guy don't meet till halfway through the movie. The bad guy's doing his bad guy stuff. The good guy's trying to find him, can't find him. All these problems keep hanging boom. Then somewhere along the way, they both meet, and then the sparks fly, right? And then usually they kind of go back apart. Bad guy's doing bad stuff over here. Something bad happens. The good guy's in trouble. Who knows what happens? Then towards the end, they meet again. They have the final fight. And of course, this time, in most movies, the good guy wins. But he can't win at the beginning, because that'd be boring. Are you going to watch the rest of the movie? Right? There's a problem, and they're going to milk that tension tension out. So I did with the story today, right? I'm not just, hey, my mom didn't want me to dust. I wanted to go play Barbie, so I started biking down the road. No, that's what happened. I said, but I didn't feel like doing the chores, right? And I was dusting the piano, and I didn't want to dust the piano. I wanted to drive a Barbie Corvette. And then I was dusting the coffee table. I didn't want to dust the coffee table. I want to go off-roading with the Barbie Jeep. And then I was doing this thing over here, and I keep building the tension. I want you to feel the tension, the temptation. I want you to experience the temptation, okay? So I'm going to build that tension of what's the problem and explore the problem. So Adam and Eve, right? We're looking through the garden, push back the branches, there's all the fruit trees, all the delicious plants, the blackberries, and there we see Adam and Eve. What are they doing? Right? I'm creating mystery. What are they doing? Eve is looking at the tree she's not supposed to. They got all the other trees. They got mango trees. They got coconut trees. Right? They got apple trees. They got pear trees. Right? They got pineapple trees. I'm just kidding. Pineapples don't grow on trees. They got pineapple plants growing on the ground. They got all the other trees. The one tree that's supposed to go at. And oh, look. Eve is getting closer to the tree. She was just looking at a second ago. She's walking closer and closer. And see what you just did? You scared her, right? See, she's getting scared, right? Now again, you'll notice here a great story isn't Adam and Eve are in a garden, they're not supposed to go to the tree, they go to the tree, they eat the fruit, God kicks them out. That's information. A good story has information. It is not information. A good story is an experience. So when I'm doing that, I want you, look, Eve is getting closer to the tree. She's not even supposed to be there. Man, look, she's getting close. Oh my goodness, there's something in the tree. There's a snake, and it's talking to her. What is going on? She's talking to a snake. Listen, if you're ever talking to a snake, start running. There's something wrong if a snake is talking to you, okay? But she's talking to, oh no, she's reaching out. She grabbed the fruit. What's she gonna do? Right? It's not the information, it's the experience. And what I want you to see Eve in your head. I want you to feel the temptation. I want you to feel the tension. Yes. Yes, but I'm not going to say that right away. Why? I want the tension. I want to make you scared. I want to make you, and here's the thing, she takes the fruit and she can feel, it doesn't feel dangerous, it just feels like a fruit. And she looks at it and it looks delicious. Oh man, I know you can squeeze an avocado or a mango and it squishes a little bit and you can feel the juice. She squeezes, she can feel, oh, it's a juicy fruit. Who's getting a watery mouth right now? Right? You see that? I want you I want your mouth to water. I want to create an experience. I'm not telling you there's a fruit. I want you to feel the fruit. I want you to taste the fruit. I want you to smell the fruit in your imagination, okay? And in a story, there's also going to be a turning point or a climax, right? They've had a couple movies where things go really bad at the end, like a horror movie will often do that, which I don't watch them anymore. I watched them when I was a teenager because, of course, I had to be a rebel, right? Not of course, you don't have to be a rebel if you're a teenager, but I was an Adventist rebel when I was a teenager. But you have a turning point or a climax. So you got this problem, the problem. What is the problem? What's going to happen? And then boom, just in time, right? So you're going to have the resolution or the climax where you resolve the tension, you solve the problem, the struggle ends, the mystery is solved, right? And that creates satisfaction, right? It's like you're baking a cake. Don't bake a cake right away. You gotta take your time, gotta mix the ingredients, you gotta bake the cake, everyone can smell it, you bring it out, you put the icing on top, the birthday candles, light the birthday candles on. Now your cake is done. So with your story, you got to bake that thing like a cake, but there's a point at which the cake is done. The story's done at an appropriate time. There's a turning point. There's a climax. On the way, though, it's nice having plot twists, right? Surprises along the way. That's really fun. That keeps people on the edge, right? And then, of course, you have the resolution and the solution. So you land the plane. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you here, storytellers. Do not save your teaching. There's a point you're trying to teach with the story. That shows only has a point. Do not tell your story with all the excitement and the drama and the experience and the heart-pumping action, and then you end the story, right? You end the story, and then you're like, and Jesus wants you to be good. You know, boys and girls, and then start preaching a sermon. No, you already gave kids the candy. The candy is the solution. Until you solve the mystery, you have everybody eating out of your hands. That's where you preach the gospel. That's where you put your main point. And a good story, you'll see, when I do a story, I tell my point as I'm telling the story. So I'm telling the story, then I come out, have a little preaching. Then I tell my story, then I pop out a little preaching. Tell my story, pop out a little preaching. During my story, then when I end the story, I might do a little resolution, and I'm done. If I start talking after I've solved the problem of the story, if I keep talking, you're going to get bored, right? Right? Yes? You're going to get bored. If I talk too much, see, she's bored already. If I start telling the story, she's going to come right back in. All right, so these are the basic parts of a story. You have to have a character, right, with feelings and thoughts, etc., temptations, struggles. You need to have a setting. Are we tropical? Are we in the desert? Are we in the Arctic? Where are we? Are we in a magical forest? There has to be a problem. The problem is the key. The problem is the key to a great story. You have a real problem, and you want to experience that problem, and you want to feel the problem, okay? You have to have a turning point, the most exciting part, the climax, and then the resolution. In the story this morning, that's when I stopped on the road. And I'm looking forward, I'm looking back. I literally turned, but I didn't resolve it yet. It was resolved as I came back, right? And then I had my point, right? So let's go over some basic principles here, okay? Number one, when he says, don't tell the story. People don't want information. We live in the information age. We are overloaded with just information, right? It's right there on Google. Boom, 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 boom. Help people experience story. Even when I'm giving information, I did in my sermon, I threw the 3 problems at you first. Right? Is the Bible historically accurate? That's a real question. Is the Bible inspired? How do you know that? I threw 3 problems at you, then we solved the problems one by one. If I just came up with the information, you'd all be bored. Right? So I want to put the problem up first. Don't tell the story, don't tell the information. Help people experience. Put them inside the story. Number 2, create that mystery and suspense. That is how you hold people's attention. What are they going to do next, man? What is going on? Listen, man, Joker has all these bad guys working for him, and he's paid off all the cops, so all the cops are on the Joker side now, and he's so bad, but everyone's scared to cross Joker. See, Batman is a good guy. He won't necessarily cheat, right? But Joker's trying to do everything he can to make Batman cheat. Will Batman fall for it? And Joker's like the devil. Everything's on the table with the Joker. He can do anything. And so there's the problem, is the good guy is trying to stay good while catching the bad guy. Because if Batman cheats to catch the bad guy, Joker wins. It doesn't matter if Joker's caught or not, it's that he turned Batman from being a good guy to being a bad guy. That's the real tension, right? That's what everyone's watching. What's going to happen next? All right, so create the mystery, suspense, milk the tension. Then follow the timeline. Oh, I've seen so many stories. Oh my goodness. They're bouncing from here, and then, oh yeah, but before I went outside, I finished dusting and threw down my rag, and then, oh, where is my dusting rag? Lost my dusting rag. And then this happened. Don't bounce around, for pity's sake. Line up your story. Thank you. Right there we go, okay? Line up your story in a time sequence. We experience time from today, tomorrow, the day after, and the story, as a general rule, there might be exceptions, maybe do a flashback here or there. Follow the story. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As a general principle, don't bounce around, okay? Organize your story from step 1, 2, 3, and as you know, like right here, I got my next slide up here, so I see what's going on. In your story, because you know your story, if you know what's coming on, feed into the next part of your story. Right? I'm going to show you this, of course, in examples. Right? Follow your timeline. Another thing I do specifically is stacking. Okay, and that is where what I did with the dusting, right? It's just a term I made up. I didn't learn this anywhere. I just made it up from who knows where. But I go like, I'm dusting. I'm not just I'm dusting the piano, and then I'm dusting the coffee table. Then I'm dusting the paintings, right? I'm saying the same thing. The Bible's, I'm repeating. It's the same thing, but I'm doing a little bit more and a little bit more and a little more. You're building Legos. First of all, you build the main foundation of the Legos, right? You get more pieces together. Now you start building the walls to your Lego house. Then you get more Legos together. And now you build the roof. I'm stacking the story on purpose. So you'll see when I tell the story of Eutychus, I'm gonna milk that timeline, that stacking in slow motion. The other one, I've been telling stories really since I was 18 years old, 1997 at summer camp. They gave me the story and I went for it, and you know what the key was? Is I do have a storytelling personality, right? Michael Jordan's naturally good at basketball, but the key to Michael Jordan is practice. I read Michael Jordan's biography. Michael Jordan, you guys don't know. You guys think these other guys. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in history. This guy, you look at the replays, I'm sorry, there's nobody else, not Kobe, and not LeBron, and not anybody of the new guys. I don't watch any of the basketball players and think they're part angel. I don't watch any of them. Michael Jordan, I watch him, and I'm like, how does a human do that? You know, you watch Michael Jordan in his prime, the way he jumps over top of other people to slam dunk. Right? And like, this isn't just a punk. This is a professional basketball player, right? One of the best athletes in the world on the ground. And Michael Jordan is flying over top of them. Okay? And Michael Jordan said this in his biography, right? He said, I look around at the young guys coming into the NBA, and a lot of them, many of them, are more talented than I am. But they'll never beat my records because they don't have the discipline or the drive. I was like, what? Burn the book. I was ready to burn the book, right? I was reading Michael Jordan's autobiography. And Michael Jordan said he doesn't see one player. He sees a bunch of young players that are more talented than he is, but they'll never succeed like him because they don't have the discipline or the drive. There's no shortcut to rehearsal. There's no shortcut. I've been telling stories since 1997, and I'm telling you, yes, I did a pretty good job here with the storytelling. I'm telling you, if I practice it, and the rule of thumb, if I can practice it and say it 3 times well, where I know what's coming up next, the day before, boom, I'll have you in my hands the whole time. Because here's the key. If I know what I am saying, all my energy goes into how I'm going to say it. Now, with me in this story, I've been telling this story for 20 years, so I know the story quite good, right? But especially if it's a new story, I need to rehearse. Doesn't matter how talented you are. If you're average talent, and you spend time, you tell your story the day before 3 times well, because I know what I'm saying. I know exactly where to put in my preaching points, right? As I tell the story, I put in my preaching points, and then when I end, I land the plane, maybe I just wrap things up, boom, I'm done. I'm not going to sit there and preach for 5 minutes. Because I know what I'm saying, my brain, the back of my head, I'm then focusing on how I say it. I'm reading my audience. I'm watching the eyeballs. I'm sensing the emotion. You can feel the energy from the audience, right? Rehearse. Talent is way overrated. I've done some different miming in my life, and people talk to me like, hey, Pastor, even before I was a pastor, like, Walter, that was a really cool mime you did for worship. Hey man, we have worship tomorrow night. Can you throw something together for worship? And I feel like what? Whoosh. I spent 20 hours on that mime. But if you practice and you work hard, you make it look easy. It's really hard to make it look easy. Michael Jordan makes it look easy, right? You will make it look easy when you use the techniques, right? And you practice. Because you know exactly what you're saying, you know the timeline of your story, you know the point you're trying to make, all your energy goes into creating the best experience for your audience possible. All right. Now, of course, the greatest storyteller in history. I'll do three quick stories here. Jesus is the Michael Jordan of storytelling. The fact that we're all here on Sabbath proves it, by the way. So someone comes up to him with some logic. He says, Jesus, what should I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus, being the master teacher, he says, well, you're an expert in the law. What does God say? Doesn't answer the question, right? Sometimes the best way to teach is by not teaching, right? So Jesus says, you're an expert in the law. What does the law say? He says, love God with all your heart, love your neighbor as you love yourself. He's quoting Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 5 is the 10th commandment. Deuteronomy chapter 6 is Shema. And Leviticus 19, 17 to 18. Love your neighbors, love yourself. He's quoting from Moses. And Jesus agrees with him. Says, you're right. Do that and you will have eternal life. So the Pharisee's like, oh, well, that's easy for you to say, right? And now he asks the question, who is my neighbor? Right? Because the Bible says I have to love my neighbor. So who is my neighbor? Who do I have to love? The implication is, who can I hate? You following? Jesus, who can I hate? Well, the Jews hate who? Samaritans, right? They're these evil pagans. They didn't just come like Rome. They're just doing the Roman thing. Greeks are doing the Greek thing. Samaritans, when in Israel, the northern tribes were conquered, Judah stayed. Northern tribes were conquered. Samaria, the capital of Israel, was genocided. They're wiped out. The Assyrian Empire brought back a whole bunch of people from all over. They're mixed with everybody else, right? They split everybody up. They brought people from all over the place, put them in Samaria, and Samaritans mixed the true worship of God with the pagan worship. So it's worse than pagan, because half pagan, half Jewish, right? And so then he goes, who is my neighbor? So Jesus doesn't tell him with logic. What does Jesus do? He tells a story. He has a setting. He says, well, there was this Jewish man. Oh, one of us, right? One of our buddies. I said, he's walking down the road probably between Jerusalem and Jericho, the valley of the shadow of death from Psalms 23. And he's walking down the road. He's traveling. And on the way, robbers attack him and beat him up and leave him for dead. They beat the living daylights out of him, so much so, they think he's dead. And by the way, he's probably naked, but thankfully it's a kid's story, so he has some clothes on, okay? First, a priest comes down the road. What's everybody thinking? Oh, a priest, man, that's the pastor. That's Pastor Kosan. The priest is coming down the road. He teaches us to love our neighbor. And this is his neighbor. This is a Jew walking next to a Jew, right? They're both the children of Abraham. So priest comes by, and the people are expecting what? They're expecting the priest to help. He teaches the God of love, right? And the priest walks by, and he quickly continues on his way. Can't get his fingernails dirty. Then a Levite comes by, right? Might he be a worship leader, an assistant to the priest? He comes along, but he has very important things to do in Jericho, so he keeps on walking. There's a mystery. So there's a problem. What's the problem? Yeah, well, the original problem is what? Before no one helps him, he needs help. The initial problem is the guy gets beat up. So here's the problem. Here's the character. He's a fellow Jew. He's beat up. There's the problem. He's left for dead. And then now you're creating suspense, right? First of all, the priest's supposed to help him, and it's a plot twist. The priest doesn't help him. Then the Levite comes by, and that's another problem. And so now the problem is he needs help, and
Nobody's helping.
There you go. Nobody is helping him. And he hurries by too. Then a Samaritan comes by. Ugh. Right? A Samaritan comes by. What a ugh. They smell bad. They look bad. They act bad. Oh, they hated Samaritans. A Samaritan comes by. And he stops. This is the enemy. Samaritan comes by and he stops. Right? It's like a Russian got beat up. and a Ukrainian walks by, right? They're in war right now, and Ukrainians don't like Russia very much, right? Not blaming all the Russian people, but I'm just saying that's how it is. And there's a Russian beat up, and Ukrainian, he's the one who stops by, not the other Russians, and to pick him up, right? And so the Samaritan comes by, and he stops by, sees the wounded man, and not only does he stop, he helps him up, puts him on his own donkey. So this guy's probably riding the donkey himself. He puts him on the donkey. Now the Samaritan has to walk. And he takes him to a hotel, and he puts him there for the night, dresses his wounds with oil, and then he pays out of his own pocket the hotel. It says, take care of this guy in this hotel as long as he needs. Now look how Jesus did with the story. Look how powerful this is. Then, of course, he went to him and said, which of these travelers is a neighbor? Jesus never answered the question. He puts another question. Which one was his neighbor of the guy who got robbed? And look, the other guy hates Samaritans so much he won't even say the name. He won't even say the Samaritan. He says, the one who helped him. And Jesus said, go and do the same. So his story is so powerful because it can disarm people. And here, Jesus used logic, it wouldn't have worked. But he asked the question, then he asked another. He answered the question with a question, then he told the story, and the story was so good at communicating the truth at the end, he didn't tell the answer. The lawyer had to tell the answer, but the story was so obvious, it brought him to the conclusion. Okay, that's the power of a story. Other story. You know, it was one time I looked inside my mom's kitchen, there was a cookie jar, and I went inside, I grabbed the cookie, I stole the cookie, and I went home, and I went to my room and I ate it. Who was excited about that? Nobody was excited about that. That was information. I would create the experience. Oh man, I was playing Legos in the other room and I could smell it. I didn't say what it was, I'm creating tension. You're wondering, what is he smelling? I can smell it. Oh, that smelled so good. I'm creating mystery. Oh man, Mom is making my favorite chocolate chip cookies. Oh, and when they're fresh, no, they're not crunchy. You can bend them. They're bendy when they're fresh, and you pull them apart, and the chocolate goes all stringy, and then you have a fresh glass of milk, and you dip it in the milk. Oh, it smells so good, and I could smell it. I was like, oh, yes. And then I saw Mom. I was watching her from the other room. I saw her take them out on the cookie sheet, and she left them on top of the stove to cool down. But I don't want a cold cookie. I want a warm, chewy cookie. A warm, chewy cookie and cold, refreshing milk. So when Mom left the room, I looked to the left, I looked to the right, I snuck into the kitchen very carefully, so quietly. Shh. I saw the cookies. I was just about to grab one. Wally, get out of the kitchen! I just cooked those cookies. You were waiting for supper. Plot twist. All right. Do you see how that is? Right? And again, I'm stretching. You know how you take cheese and you stretch it out? I'm stretching the cheese out. I'm not solving the mystery. I'm creating the mystery and I'm making it as mysterious as possible. I'm smelling something. You don't know what it is. And it smells so good. You still don't know what it is. Oh, Mom is making my favorite. You don't have the answer. I'm doing what Jesus did. Jesus didn't give the answer. Remember that? He pulled the person along with his story, and the person came to the answer themselves. So pull that thing out, okay? We'll do one more story here, and then we'll let you guys do it, okay? So in the story of Eutychus in the New Testament, in the book of Acts, Paul, you know how preachers are, right? They talk too long. And Paul is there, he's a missionary, he's preaching to the people, telling them about Jesus, and that's a really good thing to tell them. But he kept talking and talking and talking and talking. And Eutychus was just a little boy. Here, can you put up your knee? You're just a little boy. No, both knees up. And he was up in the window. It was like getting hot and stuck inside. So you want to be in the window for some fresh air, And a nice refreshing breeze was coming in. And he was just in the window frame. See how I'm changing my voice there? I'm not just saying, and Pastor Paul kept talking. No. I didn't say Pastor Paul kept talking and talking and talking. No. I'm stretching the cheese out. He kept talking and talking and talking. And as I lower my voice, the whole room gets more quiet. You should not be excited the whole time. Right? In a movie, you don't have exciting music the whole time. And you're like, too much excitement. The movie, there's exciting music, there's scary music, there's sad music, there's hopeful music that builds back up, there's a crescendo, like good music. You don't want it exciting the whole time. You don't want your story to be exciting the whole time. You want to slow that down. And he got more tired and more tired and more tired. Right? Who's with me? You see how I'm doing it, right? Again, if I'm scared to look dumb, I'm not going to tell a good story. Right? And so I appreciate what when you're singing, you don't care. You just sing. And I like that, you know? And the thing is, that's more important than being young and cool. If you were young and cool, you wouldn't be as good at leading songsters because you're like just trying to be cool the whole time, right? Right? That you just got to go for it, and the kids follow you. The kids follow you, right? And so with that, if I'm saying if something scary is happening, I'm not just saying it's scary, I'm feeling scared. If something exciting is happening, I am excited, right? I'm not just, that was very exciting. No, I'm excited. If the story is sad, I'm going to be so sad. Are you feeling sad with me right now? A little bit? Okay. All right. So you can sit in the window. Put your knees up, boy. Put your knees up. And he's getting more and more tired and more tired. And his eyes start to close. His head bows down. All of a sudden, Eutychus falls, fast asleep, falls out the window. And he's wide awake now. Oh! And he starts falling. He falls past the first story. He starts to accelerate 9.81 meters per second squared. He starts falling past the second story. He's going even faster. His hair is moving up now. His cheeks are starting to flap. He falls past the third story. He goes, moving! Bam! He hits the ground. Uh-oh. Well, suddenly no one's listening to Pastor Paul anymore. Wow. They heard this kid scream on the way out the window and go splat on the ground. Be dead, you're dead. Well, now they cancel the meeting for a second. Pastor Paul runs down the stairs as fast as he can, right? And he comes over and he looks at Eutychus and he says, you know what? He's going to be all right. Okay, so what I did there, the example there is the stacking. He didn't just fall down 3 stories, right? That's information. How do I experience it? I put it in slow motion. Of course, he's going to fall very quick. He fell down the first story, then the second story, then the third story, and boom, he hit the ground. Again, the most basic element is I become the story. I am the story. I am falling through. When he hits the ground, I'm going to jump. Okay? And again, you give it all you got, right? Now the thing is, I will say this, some personalities will be different. I've seen people a lot less dramatic than me tell an incredible story because their description. They didn't act crazy like me, but they described the story with such amazing words that you were in the story. Right? So this is my armor, so there's room to use your own armor, no problem, but you have to create the experience. All right, you can go back up in your seat. All right, so 1, don't tell the story, create the experience. Number 2, milk that mystery, that suspension, that's your candy, and don't give your candy away in the beginning. Do not tell your story and then prove your point. You preach throughout your story, okay? Number 3, follow a timeline as much as possible. Don't start jumping back. From this part of the story to that part of the story to that part of the story, because people get confused and they're not with you. You want to be super simple. It's like the soundboard. You don't want to know they exist, right? And you don't want to think about the timeline. You just want to feel it go through, right? And experience it. One part. First this, then that, then that, then that. So follow a timeline, stacking again. You can go in slow motion. If you can do sound effects, do sound effects. If you can say, what is that person feeling, right? I couldn't milk this more. What's he feeling? Like, he loves Pastor Paul, but he's so boring right now. This sermon, man, Pastor Walter preached long on Sabbath because Pastor Kosovan told him he could. This guy's gone for like 3 hours. So what is he feeling? What is he feeling? What is he thinking? And especially, what's the tension? He wants to stay awake, but he's so tired, right? There's that am I going to do this or am I going to do that? I want that mystery and that tension, okay? So follow the timeline, stack it, go slow motion if you want. Kids love slow motion, by the way. Like slow motion. They're all with you. And then the other thing is, there's no shortcut, rehearse, right? Michael Jordan, according to him, is not the most talented basketball player. But no one's going to come close to him, I don't think, for a long time. I haven't seen it yet because they don't have the talent and the discipline and drive. And listen, if you're an average storyteller, a lot of people are average by definition, right? You line 10 people up, 5 of them are average. That's fair. But if you have an uncommon work ethic, that's where success comes from, right? Anybody here's over 30, you know success is 80% perspiration, right? Show up and do your job. It's more important than talent. I used to think talent was awesome, and I started trying to recruit talented people unreliable. I don't want talented people on my team anymore. I want committed people on my team. I want average people with above average work ethic. If you have a great work ethic, you can tell great stories, okay? So your turn. All right, I'm gonna start picking on people here. In South, we had a winner's hat. We pulled random names out of the envelope, and lots of different stories. You can tell a story. We have some samples here: stealing a cookie or a bird nest in a big red barn. Do not say big red barn. Paint the picture. Paint the picture in my brain, in my imagination, of what a big red barn is. What's going on with the bird nest? What's the problem? Right? All right? Or, what's the good guy? What's the bad guy? What's the mystery? Right? There has to be a problem, right? And again, make that experience become the story. Eating your first fruit from a garden. Or yesterday, Pastor Kosovan had some honeycomb. You talk about eating honeycomb. All right. You guys have heard lots of stories from me now. I'm going to pick on this lovely young lady right over here. What's your name? They don't look behind you. Come on up here. She was listening. I saw her. She was taking notes. All right. Do you want to pick one of these, or do you have a little story you can tell? But it has to have a problem. It has to have a character, a setting, and a problem.
Okay, I will make this hard.
Okay, first of all, tell me the boring version, then tell me the fun version.
The boring version?
Yeah, just the information.
It was a fox.
Oh, a box?
No, a fox.
Fox, okay.
Okay. It was a fox in the forest trying to eat something.
Okay, that was super boring. Okay, now tell me the fun one.
I'm not sure. Can I ask for help? My baby, may I help?
Again, I'll get the principles up here, basic principles.
So create the experience. Describe what's the feeling, what's the tension, what decision are they trying to make, right? What's the fox thinking? Who is the fox? What is the fox like? You're a fox too. All right. Good.
Okay. This fox is a gray color. It's a gray fox.
Mm-hmm. Gray fox.
It's a gray fox.
Smart one?
This is normal. And he is feeling sad. He used to be.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pause you right there. Okay. You said he's feeling sad. Did you look sad when you said that?
Okay.
Did you feel sad inside? Okay,
No.
now do that again. There's a gray fox.
It's a gray fox.
Make me feel sadness.
The fox feels sad.
Yes, way better, right? Yeah. Right? You become sadness, okay? All right, the gray fox, again.
Okay, it's a gray fox, but this fox He's feeling sad.
Yes, yes, yes. See, if you're scared to look dumb, you're gonna look dumb. Okay? Just go for it. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. This is for the
I have
kids.
to
This is for the
fake, I
children.
have to fake, because I'm just making this story.
So it's a fox. He's really talented and he's kind of feeling sad because he doesn't.
You have to look sad.
He's feeling very sad. Okay. Why is the fox feeling sad?
Okay. This fox is feeling sad because he can eat anything.
Why can't he eat anything?
I have to think.
Okay, so right there. But now you have right there's the potential. He can't eat anything. And so now how is he going? Because he can't eat anything. So he's sad, he can't eat anything. How is his tummy feeling?
He's starting to feel hungry. It's another word.
No, you just said hungry. I didn't feel hungry when you said that.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
And he's starting to feel hungry.
Yes! You see that? You see that? That's it right there. Right? He's feeling hungry. Yes.
And now it's starting to be starving.
Yes, oh, starving. Okay?
And
The only food he can see
the only food that he can see
is those poisonous berries in the bushes.
is those poisonous berries on the bushes.
Yes, yes. You see that? Perfect. Okay, awesome. All right, I want to pick on somebody else up here. All right. Good job. Give a round of applause. All right, Michael, come on up here. Yeah, gotta bring you up.
All right, Mike. I want you to tell me, okay, here's your basic principles, right? Again, create the experience, create mystery, follow a timeline, rehearse. I want you to tell me about a bird nest in a big red barn. So first of all, let's do the boring version, okay? What's the boring version?
I went to this barn in my backyard, and there was this little bird nest up there.
All right, yeah, boring. Okay. Now, create the image in my mind, in our mind. Paint the picture for us. Describe it.
It was a rainy day.
Yes. Setting.
The sky was so gray. Everything was just dark. It seemed like nighttime, but it was day. It was twilight. I knew I had to find my way home. But I didn't know how to get there. I was lost. But I knew if I could find the red barn, my house had a big red barn beside it. I'd been walking for hours. And all of a sudden, from across the field, I saw something colorful. But I didn't know what it was. But then, all around me, something flitted by, back and forth. I had to duck like this. I thought, oh, they're after me. What is it? Is it what? Is it? Oh, what's going on? It was barn swallows. Barn swallows! Guess where the barn swallows live? In the barn! I knew I was close to home. All I had to follow was the barn swallows, and it would take me to my big red barn, and I'd find my way home.
All right, good. So is that right? Okay. Now, feedback is the breakfast of champions, right? So if you want to be Michael Jordan, you got to take feedback from your coach, right? Okay. So he got into it, right? The one thing at the beginning, if you say a descriptive word, you need to become the description, right? And you said it was gray, and you looked very happy for a gray, dark day. And was it raining? I think it was raining a little bit. It was raining? I didn't feel the rain. I felt the birds, right? The birds. So that was it. You became the story of the birds, but you're ducking, you're watching, and then we felt the hope. You're way too happy with the sad description. And whatever your description is, you become the description. Start that over again. Show me a gray and rainy day, but you become the gray rainy day.
Or experience. Create an experience for us.
I had been walking all day. The sky was so gray, so dark, all around me. I couldn't even see. How was I going to get home?
Yes, see how much better that was?
Yes, absolutely. So again, the principle there is you never describe something without becoming it, is the rule of thumb, right? If it's a gray day, you become. You're not smiling, you're a happy guy. I like that. Yeah, you can take that happiness away when you're saying something sad in your story, okay? But then, like I said, the second half, once you got into it, you definitely saw its elements. And then, of course, like right there, if you rehearse it, you're making it up right now, which is fine, it's what you're doing. But as you rehearse the story, you know what's coming. So you're like, oh, it was a gray day, it was so light I could barely see. I hadn't been home for so long, I was so hungry, and I was walking on one step after another. Then it started to rain on me. Man, I'm going to wipe the rain off, because it's raining on me, right? Or whatever it is. Or you're really tired and sweaty, wipe the sweat off, just keep going, right? All right, awesome. I want to get one of the young people here. I want to hear about you've been working hard on your garden all summer, and now it's time for you to enjoy the first ripe strawberry. Come on up here. Okay? So tell me about that first ripe strawberry, okay? And first of all, again, just for fun, you can walk around him, I don't know, drop kick him or something, get him out of the way. You can come. Just kidding, he's not going to drop kick you. All right. And so first of all, tell me the boring way. Just the information, and then create the experience. What's your name, young lady? Hannah. All right, Hannah, not from Montana. All right, perfect.
The first strawberry of the summer. Tell me the boring way.
There was a garden, and there was strawberries in the garden, and I decided to eat one.
Yeah, boring. All right. Now create the I want to see the strawberry. I want to smell the strawberry. I want to taste the strawberry. Make me hungry. And don't be scared to look up.
It was a really hot day. The sun was blazing. It was so hot. I wanted to have some cold orange juice with some strawberries. So I went inside to grab the orange juice from my fridge, and then I was walking outside, and I see that there's a bunch of birds surrounding a plant.
Good.
So I look out the window, and I see that it's my strawberry plant that they're around.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, so then they were really close to it, and they were trying to peck at it, so I ran up to them, and I started waving my arms around to get them to go away. And suddenly I see there's a few strawberries on the ground, already pecked at and half gone. And I was really sad, because I really wanted to try the strawberries. I worked really hard to make them grow, and they were gone. But then I realized on the other side, there was still one strawberry left. So I looked at it, and I decided to grab it, and it was perfect. It was only one, but
Describe what perfect is. Tell me what perfect is.
it was really big. It fit right in my hand. And I took a bite, and it was so juicy.
Good. All right. How'd you do? Okay. Now, you see how creative young people are? Young people have amazing imaginations, okay? Now, and again, I know you haven't had a chance to rehearse. We're making this as we go, right? Of course, if you're telling that story for a children's story, there's a couple really key elements there that I missed the experience on. Where you said you went to the fridge and you got orange juice for yourself, right? Can you go to that fridge
and get orange juice, can you throw in some sound? Actually, tell me how that went. Create that experience of going to the fridge and getting the orange juice. Put my brain into the movie, okay?
I walked towards the fridge and I opened it, and there's a breeze of cool air as I open it, and I reach
Okay,
inside.
the breeze of cool air. Okay, good description. What can you do for the breeze? How can you feel the breeze of cold air?
Yeah, it was kind of cold.
Okay, now experience that. Okay, you're doing great, by the way. You're doing great. Okay, so, and the one thing I would say is when you start with the problem. You already got the solution. You're going to the fridge, right? So start with, oh, I was so thirsty. My voice was so dry. It was a hot day. I've been working all day in the garden. I'm so thirsty. I decided to go to the fridge. Right? So start with the problem, and then you're going to solve it, and then you're doing really good. I'm pushing you a little bit, but you're doing really awesome. So start with the problem, and then go in there, and as these elements come out, which you're picking out awesome elements, right? You got a lot of really wonderful elements in your story, but now become those elements. If it's cold, if it's hot, which you did, like you wiped the sweat off your forehead, wasn't that good? Right? She held the strawberry in her hand. Did you see the strawberry in her hand, right? When she holds it, you see, you don't just say, there's a strawberry in my hand. No, I saw the strawberry in your hand in my imagination, right? So there's a lot of things you're doing really awesome. All right, do the little fridge orange juice thing with the experience. What's the problem? Why are you doing that? How are you feeling? What does the new thing feel like? And what does that thing feel like, etc.?
It was a really hot day, and I was so hot, I was sweating, so my throat was really dry, and I
Can
needed.
you talk like your throat's dry? I mean, you become the strawberry. My throat was really dry.
My throat was really dry.
Yes, you saw that little bit extra, right? You saw that? Didn't that make it better? Okay, keep going. Don't worry about looking down. I'm telling you, you look awesome when you tell a great story. Don't worry about looking down. The number that'll kill the story is you being afraid to look down.
So I decided to walk to my fridge to get a cold glass of orange juice.
Okay, you decided. Now, you're not there yet. That's just what you decided. Now, walk there. Make the movie in my head.
Okay, so I walked towards my fridge, I opened it, and I
What sound does the fridge make when you open it?
creak.
Yes, there you go.
And then I feel this cool breeze from inside the fridge, and I reach out to grab the orange juice.
What kind of orange juice is it? Is it the cheap garbage Walmart kind? Is it like a fresh squeezed kind? It's
No, it's a
expensive.
fresh squeeze from my garden.
Okay.
I opened the cupboard to grab a cup, and I served myself a nice cup of orange juice.
All right, good. And see, also elements, like she walked to the fridge, right? And just a little thing. There's that little walk makes the story better, right? And opening the door, you can make the sound. And then you grab the orange juice, and just a little bit of mind technique here for you, right? So you have your hand is limp, and as soon as you grab something, your hand gets firm. So you reach out, you grab the orange juice. See, boom, I have the orange juice. I pulled it out, I put it on the counter, I close the fridge. Now, oh man, that orange juice was so cold, I could see the water's kind of sweating off the side of it. I reach up to my cupboard, and I grab, limp hand, grab the glass. And my hand is in the shape, like it was a strawberry, right? I saw the strawberry in your hand, I grab the glass. So it's a soft hand, hard hand. I grab the glass, I put it down, and then I unscrewed the top of the orange juice container, and then I poured it all. Oh, okay, now ready here, I'm gonna give you the cup. All right, now you describe how good that orange juice tasted.
So I grabbed the cup and I took a sip, and I could feel the good orange just going down my throat as I took a big gulp.
Good. No, that all answered. Okay, awesome. Good job. All right. Let me see here. I want to pick. Who do you guys want me to pick on next? All right. That's Isaiah, right? Isaiah. Come on up here, Isaiah. He's too scared. All right. Can I pick on this gentleman right here? No, you're not scared of public speaking. Did a great job at the Hallelujah party. Come on over here. Kind of, any story you want. I got some examples there. Have the problem. That should be a problem to solve. Have the problem, and then paint the picture. Become the story. Okay. And you need to be over here though. All right.
Before I can start, the 5 important things of speech. There is voice modulation, the pitch, the pause, and the projection, the power. Like what the pastor was doing was voice modulation. It's very important. When you tell a story, the voice modulation is very important. So when I teach my students back home, I teach them, the pitch, the pause. Like when like he told, fell down, and then he made the expression, right? So it's very important that you have it, voice modulation. Okay, I'll tell you a story. I've been telling them stories. And what happened was, there was this 2 friends, wonderful friends, and they were very close friends, a jackal and a camel. Very close, they were so good friends. And one day it was dark night, and it was a starry night, sky was clear, it was quite dark, and both the friends were feeling very hungry. And oh my, they were wondering what to do. And then the jackal, he had an idea. Let's go to that farm. You can see the farm? There was a sugarcane field there. Oh, the juicy sugarcane. It was, they could feel that sweetness. And they said, let's go and we'll steal the sugarcane there. But before they could go to that field, there was a river there. Big problem. How can they cross that river? And there was, the river was deep. The jackal could not swim. And what happened? The camel told, no problem. You sit on my back. I will swim and we'll go to that field and we'll eat. And both the friends, they made the plan. It was so well laid plan. There was a small problem. If the farmers, they see these 2, they will get a big stick and they'll, trash both of them. They beat the animals. That was the only problem. But then, they were so hungry, and there was the delicious sugarcane field there, and they just have to cross the river. And there was a solution. The camel, he told, don't worry, sit on my back, and we'll go and have that sugarcane. So the plan, they decide, they go to the river bank. The water was flowing, cold water, starry night, everything is pitch black. Everywhere there is silence. They can just hear the crickets chirping here and there. And they go. The jackal jumps on the camel, and they both go slowly. The camel swims across the river. When they go on the other side, they are so hungry, they both start eating the sugar cane. The jackal, he has a small stomach. Within few minutes, his stomach is full. But the camel, it has to eat a lot. It has got a big stomach. Now, once the jackal, he finished his dinner, and then as is the habit of the jackal, he starts howling. Woo! Woo! And who hears this? The farmers. There is some animal in our field. Let's go. And they come running with the sticks. And what happened? By the time they come, the jackal is already out of the field. And the poor camel is going on eating there. And what happened? The farmers, they come and they thrash the camel so badly. And then the camel also goes. And then the jackal is waiting near the river bank. And what happens? Then camel asks the jackal, hey, why did you do that? I'm still hungry. I could not eat my fill. Why did you howl? Saying it is my habit. After, as soon as my stomach is full, I howl. okay, the camel thought to himself, okay, let me see. And then, as they were going in the river, the camel, the jackal was sitting on the back of the camel. And then when he goes in the middle of the river, the camel turns. And what happened? The jackal falls in the river. And he starts drowning. And then, why are you doing this? And the camel look at this small guy, the jackal, it is my habit. After food, I like to take a turn in the river. Moral of the story, you should always have good friends, wherever you go.
All right. Hold on. I'm finding right now. If I picked the oracle, I'll put my DD. Great job. Are you a teacher? Okay, so you're currently a teacher. You've been a teacher how many years?
Last 20 years, maybe.
20? Oh my goodness. Okay. So first of all, a whole bunch of things he did right? Can someone throw out some of the things he did great? Right here. What did he do? That was good.
Expression.
Sorry? You jumped in? Yes. So he jumped in, had good expression. What else did he do good? Was it good storytelling session? What else was good?
Mystery.
The mystery, right? He explained the problem right away. And again, no problem, no, it's not fun. Right? A good story has to have a problem for suspense. What's going to happen next, okay? Good. What else was good in there?
A number of details.
Yeah, these different details, okay? And there's some other stuff in there too, good. There were details, good expression. He followed a sequential timeline, right? So he didn't bounce all over the place with his time, but from start to finish. All right, what else? There's a very specific thing I'm looking for, yes?
Sound effects.
Yes, the sound effects, okay, absolutely. He was clear, okay?
There was a problem.
Yep, there's a problem right from the beginning, okay?
They couldn't go across the river. It was swift and
Yeah, but the jackal could go, the camel could go, the jackal couldn't go, but they found a solution. So there's smaller problems and solutions along the way. There's a key element in there. I'm hoping you guys get. We've talked about it several times. It wasn't my ideas. Yes. Plot twist, a surprise, right? Who thought the jackal was going to howl? I didn't. Then the jackal howled. There was a problem. And then, of course, they went across the river. Then the camel then came. Now, notice that he had a point at the end, right? But he didn't take 5 minutes to preach at the end, right? Etc. Okay. So now I want to stretch you a little bit. And even though you've been a teacher for 20 years, right? We can all learn how to do it better. What were some things that you think he could have had great potential there, or some things he could have milked a little bit more out of there?
Sound of the river.
The sound, okay, so you had some sound effects. You don't want to be up there for 20 minutes doing sound effects. You can definitely do more sound effects. Like when they were hungry, I didn't hear any sound effects, right? And I wanted that. Oh, their tummies were making what sound? What sound were their tummies making?
All the pots and pans.
Yes, the growling. Oh man, they were so. And I wanted you to feel hungry, right? You said they were hungry. You described it, right, which is good. But it's like, oh, they were so hungry, right? You rub your belly, right? Becoming that story. The river. How did the river feel? You said it was cold. Oh, there you could have just 10 seconds of describing that river. Can you try that again? When they come down to the river was cold, but that you described it. I want to feel how the river felt. Can you just take just 10 seconds to create that experience of entering the river?
The water was cold, and then the camel put its one leg, and then it could feel the cold coming up, and then he put the other leg, and literally started shivering. But hunger was more important than the cold of the water.
Good.
Still I should have.
Good. Is it, again, you can take 30 minutes on just the water, right? So use common sense here. But even just that little extra element, put one foot in, then he put the other foot in. Man, it was cold. But it was more important, the hunger in his stomach. It was great, okay? Good. Anything else you guys think he could milk a little bit more of? I picked on you, so you can pick on him, yes?
Well, he talked about how the jackal howled
howled, and then the farmers came running out and they beat the camel because he was still hungry. But then I think when they got to the river, he kind of rushed it where the camel just rolled over, he fell off, and then he's like, "Why'd you do that?" So you could have milked that a little bit more and say how he got out or.
Right, and then also with the beating, you can get that from someone. And the farmers go over there, they hit the camel on the leg, they hit him on the one hump, they hit him on the other hump, they hit him on the head, you know. And again, you don't want to be crazy and go 30 minutes on one detail, but even like you didn't do all 4 feet, you did 2 feet, but that really just, bam, put it up the next notch, right? Awesome. All right, 3 14 guys got a pretty good idea. Who wants to hear Pastor Kosovan tell a story? Thank you so much. All right, you did great, by the way. You guys all did great. Come on here, Pastor Kosovan. If I can pick on your fearless leader.
They've been hearing my stories, you know. So I can tell a story, just briefly.
Yeah, experience.
Okay,
Go crazy.
okay.
Go crazy.
Okay, Pastor, no one can do it like you, but I will try. Okay, once upon a time, this pastor used to live in one of the scariest places on planet Earth. When I was 9 years old, anybody 9 years old here? Anybody? Okay. I lived in a place called Transylvania. Now, what do you guys know about Transylvania? What is Transylvania famous for? Dracula used to be our king. Actually, the way you pronounce it is Dracula. You say Dracula? Dracula. Anyways, well, my father was a pastor. We moved quite often. And one of his assignments was to live in Transylvania. I knew this was not going to go well, even as a child. You know, I said, listen. But my father was a pastor. And sure enough, he bought a beautiful home. We moved in. It was one of the biggest houses we ever had. And it was very cheap. Well, when I went to school, and now we didn't have Christian schools like we have here. I went to school and suddenly, and I'm very friendly, I like to make friends. But when I came to, on day 1 to that school, suddenly all the students, they would just like look at me and walk away or walk around me, and I felt really sad. I mean, I felt really sad. Maybe something's wrong with me. I don't know, you guys sometimes have those feelings like maybe I look weird, well, I used to have a very big head, I still do, you know. So even teachers were like, what in the world, is this a Martian or what? But I was really sad. I was like, man, something's wrong with me. And finally, at the end of the day, one of the kids said, Marion. I said, what's going on? Like, this is not a very friendly school. He says, Marion, don't you know? You don't know? I said, what? Is that the house you purchased? You guys live on? The street was called Dobrsha. Dobrsha, that's the name of the street. Number 27. I said, yeah, that's my house. You don't know? You don't know what? I said, what are you talking about? He says, everyone in Dub knows that this is the house where the most famous witch used to live. I'm like, so? He said, you have no idea. There is noises at night from that house. There is weird stuff happening all around. You live in that place? Oh man, when I heard that, I went home. I'm like, Dad, please, let's leave from I don't want to live here. I don't want to live here. I knew there was something weird just about this place. And sure enough, I was scared to sleep in. And my bedroom was upstairs, you know. On the second floor, it was a big bedroom. But suddenly, you know, when I went to sleep, I was starting to pray, Lord, please, don't let me see any ghosts or anything. I know the ghosts are not real, but I don't want to eat. I don't want to. I fell asleep. In the morning, everything was normal. Suddenly, my dad comes and says, Marion, listen, if you do this one more time, you're going to get in real trouble. Because for several hours, all this noise upstairs, it feels like you were dancing or playing. And I'm like, oh no, Dad, what? Oh my goodness, this house is haunted. I was sleeping. My dad says, no, Mary, I'm telling you, you were like all over the place. And boys and girls, believe it or not, that was, it's a true story, man. It's a true story. I was not able to sleep. I was not able to eat. And I think we started hearing things, scratching, and the house was kind of old. And you hear at night you're sleeping and you hear this. And you're thinking, that sounds like the floor. It sounds like someone's walking. I'm like, no way. And guess what? Where do you think I was sleeping the second night? Not in my bedroom. Right between my mom and dad. But I was still hearing noises. Even that was not enough. Well, and this is when my dad said, Marian, it's true, this house, now I understand why it was so cheap. We bought it at a very cheap price. Half the price of every other house. Because people, all the locals knew that this was a house of a famous witch. We got on our knees, we prayed like never before. And my dad says, Lord, in the name of Jesus, Lord, whatever is in this place, cast it out. And for the next 5 years, we lived in the beautiful city called Yaremcha in Transylvania. We never heard any more noises. And so I'm here today to tell you the story. Thank you very much.
Sounds professional, eh? There we go, eh? Yeah, well, that's pretty good story material, too. All right, so what are the things you appreciated most about his story? I mean, it was a true story, and he's obviously told it before, right? So he already had the rehearse. All right, well, what was your favorite things about that story?
Created some mystery and suspense in the beginning.
Created some mystery. What's going to go on? When he said the house was cheap, I was like, uh-oh, right? There's a reason why it was cheap, right? Okay, anything else? It was spooky. It was fun. It was spooky. It was kind of scary. It was also fun, okay?
Why was everybody at school treating him so badly? I mean, they wouldn't be friends or anything.
Because he lived in a haunted house.
Yeah, but he didn't know that.
Yeah, and so he created that thing. So he brought the one from the cheap house. Then everybody is being mean to him and avoiding him at school. And then you're thinking, why, right? And the thing is, you don't have to always give the answer, right? And you can tell the story, and you can create mystery without explicitly asking the question like Jesus did and like you did, right? And so as you were telling the story, you didn't necessarily tell things that was already obvious. It was implied, right? Some of the mystery there, right? All right. Anybody else? What were specific things that you saw him do? You're like, that's a good story technique. That's something I can copy. Something I can do. Yes? Yes, he had the sound effects, right? Or whatever it was. It was good. Good. All right, good. Now, the challenge there was, I think one of the challenges was, is you're trying to do it quickly.
Yes.
Right.
It's on my wife's fault. She was doing this to me.
Yes.
She was doing this.
Wait, a lot of the fun elements, though, are when you slow it down and you milk that element, right? You let that flower blossom. You know, that you get that part of the story blossom, you kind of pull that out. And again, you can do it too much, but usually we do it too little. Yes, Mike?
He really engaged us in the story with his many emotions.
Yes, and you were feeling like, why are all these kids picking on me, right? Had a little bit of humor in there. You should consider being a public speaker sometime. You know, you and you too. You should really consider a career. We're doing a lot of talking. Okay, and now, if I may be so bold, what are some things that you think he could have juiced up a little bit more? What are some things you think he could have pulled out or made a little bit smoother or made? I bet you Alana has a few points for feedback. Oh man, no one of the most honest feedback you get is from your wife.
That's
right?
right. That's right.
don't be scared. You won't. You guys are all volunteers. He can't fire you. Well, where's it that you think he could have juiced that up a little bit or something?
Well, when the dad was hearing the noises, what type of noises there were?
Yeah.
Oh, could have had some more sound effects, okay? And again, you don't have to make a lot. He didn't do the sound effects a lot. It was just like 3 seconds, or even a second, like. But that popped it up, right? Or like the little elements you had, like where you had the strawberry in your hand. It doesn't take long, right? There's that little extra element, right? All right. Well, what's something else you wanted him to kind of pull out a little bit more? And again, I mean, you can tell listening to him, this guy does this a lot, right? You can definitely tell that it was a polished story. And you can tell he knew his story, right? Which, of course, is easier than making something up like most of you guys just kind of made up a story, which is harder, right?
Because I'll forget.
Yes.
This young man who actually approached me and told me why. He's my best friend until now. He lives in Lloydminster, out of all the places on the Saskatchewan, Alberta side. Anyways, it's a border town, so we've been friends for life. You know, he's still my friend. And he's in Canada. Yes.
Good. All right, there are just a few different elements which I would have wanted a little bit more pulled out, right? Like when you were in bed, you could have crawled into bed and pulled the covers over, and then you're there where you said you were in bed, but you didn't go to bed.
Yes.
Right? And just a little bit extra, like you walk upstairs, you open the door to this huge bedroom, you describe this huge bedroom, and then you pull back the covers, crawl into bed, pull back the covers, and you're trying to just sit there, you're warm, and you're like, what's going to happen? You know what? You fell asleep. And I mean, the easy way, kids always love hearing you snore, right? You fell asleep. Doesn't matter if you snored for real or not, you're snoring in your life, doesn't matter. Jesus understands, you can add the snoring. That's a really easy thing. Kids always love that,
I
right?
don't have to add it to you.
I'll add it to you, snore.
Isaac and Isaiah would be like, we already heard that.
You know.
I snort.
But it was good. But there was that plot twist right where he went down. His parents are saying, "You're dancing around upstairs," and he's like, "No, I wasn't." You could have had that a little bit more offended, a little more defensive. And so you did very good. You did very good describing the story. The timeline was good. Things fell in line good. And again, you don't have to be as crazy as me. There's a few little things on there as you rehearse it. I think, how can I really hold my audience on the edge of the seat as you rehearse it? You pull those elements out, right? And so that'd be it. If you added 30 seconds to that story at some of the key fun parts, boom, boom, boom. And of course, if I was doing it in church, like I did with the ghost story, I'd put that Bible verse in, like that Bible verse that I did the ghost story. I had that Bible verse on every slide. So I didn't say the Bible verse at the end. I had it throughout, right? And the guy didn't actually say it. He wasn't quoting that verse. The story doesn't say he quoted that verse to the other people. I added that. Jesus understands if you add some elements to your story, okay? To make it exciting. Within reason, right?
By the way, I have nice pictures. I have the house. I still have pictures of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you were telling it, you would want the pictures
Oh,
of it.
yeah. I always tell people with the pictures. But anyways, so this was the first time I actually shared the story without any pictures.
Oh,
Yes.
so you got to paint the pictures.
And my wife was also doing this, you know.
So hey, listen. Humans learn by stories. Stories are natural for all of us. The catch is we don't sit around campfires every day like our ancestors did, telling stories like this just used to be the thing. We watch the stories on the screen now. And so some of that art has been lost. And so don't worry, I think like 90% of people can make a great storyteller. So thank you, Pastor Marion. All right. Let's close with prayer. And if you have any questions, I'll be here for a little bit. And then at 6 o'clock, we're going to have one about fundraising. Didn't want to do that during Sabbath.
No, listen, I just want to ask, can you, before we pray, I know that some of the people that were going to come to tonight's seminar got sick, but we still want to have the seminar. We still want to have the seminar. My only question to you guys, because in some ways I feel that we worked this pastor so hard for the last 2 weekends that I actually felt guilty because the main people that were going to come to the seminar, they got sick. I don't want you to get sick. At the same time, I wonder if we can we potentially have like a, what's it called, a rain check and record the seminar with you via Zoom so that those people who are not here could participate? Or
what about all the ones who will come?
yes, and that's why I'm asking, how many of you are planning to come to tonight?
But you don't know who's planning to come, who's not here.
Yeah, that's true. We are not sure who's going to come at 6 o'clock. Because, well, we can wait and see who shows up. But I was just thinking, anybody here, because I know some of you guys were also staying, some of you have to travel at least half an hour back to Langford. But how many of you are planning to come for 6 o'clock tonight? Okay? And thank you, because you were going to record. Thank you, because, by the way, please bring your cell phone and record this, because we want to make sure to have this on in our library of training. So what I'm suggesting is there a chance that if tonight, let's say tonight, but this is one of the most important seminars about the summer camp, will you have a chance to do it via Zoom or not?
I think the easiest thing is just to go ahead and do it and just record it. We can either live stream it or we can just put that on YouTube.
So you're saying we still will meet at 6, whoever shows up, shows up?
I think unless there's a huge tsunami outside, I think we should go ahead at 6 p.m.
Okay.
I've canceled church once during a blizzard. People still show up. They still show up and say, "Hey, we risked our lives to come here. We having church or what?" And you're like, "Oh, sorry." Instead of 100 people, you have 10, but you still have 10, right? Okay. And so I think let's just go ahead. But by the time we record it later on, and to be honest, my brain is always kind of where I am. So I'm in Vancouver. My brain and everything's kind of focused on Vancouver and ministering in that location. So right now I'm here. I'm focused on here. My head's into it.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
Very well. 6 p.m. we have this final seminar. So let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for this very practical seminar and helping us to become more powerful storytellers, especially, Lord, as we have to share. We need to share the gospel, which is the good news, and it's a story that changed the whole world. Today, the world doesn't count days and years from the birth of Muhammad or Aristotle, but from the birth of Jesus Christ. So, Lord, help us to sharpen our skills so that when we share the story of Jesus, that it will be, first of all, truthful, but also extremely engaging and exciting, because this is the best story of all times. We pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thank you so much. And we will be here at 6.
Can we do the seminar in the classrooms? If it's a smaller size, it's going to feel a lot better being in a smaller classroom.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have that classroom right there where the screen is. Yeah. So, folks, we'll change the location, and that means we can just take the sound system down, and we'll see you there in the classroom at 6 o'clock.
Can you record it there?
Yeah, we're going to have a cell phone. The cell phone is recording right now. So, rather than you can record that in a different room as well. Special thanks to our sound man, and I know Dave Souza just texted me, says your PowerPoint is in the computer, so he says don't take the sound system down, but we say yes, do it, because you can send me that file too. Or you can use your...
I never sent the PowerPoint for the money thing.
Okay. So
I sent the PowerPoint for my sermon.
But you have everything on your computer, so we'll just connect.
Yeah, we'll just connect to the screen. We did that all week.
Okay?
All right.
Shalom. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.